Hi, my name is Arthur Singh, and I created the structure for this project directory. I also created the navigation bar partial, the index and research page with styling for those. Um, I also created a about site page using Markdown, and I also created the footer partial as well. And then I also put everyone's code together, and I also wrote the README. So here's our GitHub page. This is group 6 for section 10556. And so here is the file or directory structure. So in data, we have our YAML files that contains data for our web page. Here's the source folder. And in the source folder, we have images for the web page, layouts, so the layouts of each HTML page, partials, so that's like navigation bar and footer that every page uses. Style sheet. This is styling for each page. And then we have the ERB and Markdown files that generates the HTML file for each page that the site has. Then we have gem files and the config files. And then so here's the README. And then here is everyone in group 6. Okay, so now I will be demoing our project. So once you clone the GitHub repository, this is pretty much what you'll see in VS Code. So to go ahead and view the website, you can enter the build folder and then go to index.html, and then you can just run it with Google Chrome. So I'm using the VS Code extension, live server extension. And so here's what the website looks like. So expand this. So here's our index.html page. You can see there's the navigation bar on the top, the footer at the bottom, and then here's the professor we did our website for. And so this is pretty much information from the original website. So you can click on some of the links. So here's to the research page, uh, to his Google Scholars page. Oops. Uh, so this is the home tab. We can also go to the research tab as I previously went on. So here's all of his publications with links to them, um, and the authors and venues. And then there's also some his dissertation and reports. And then you can go to the news page. So here's some news that was in his original website. And you can see that this image also has a link. And then here's his teaching. So here's some classes he taught at OSU. And then here's the students page. So some students that he's taught or helped PhD for. And then finally in the footer, there's this about this site, and this page was created using Markdown. And so this is like a mini README. And then this link takes you back to the GitHub. Okay, so if we now return back to VS Code, and I'm just gonna delete the build. And then I will show you how to recreate the folder with the web pages. So you can do bundle, exec, middleman, build, and it's also on the README. So you go ahead and run that. And you can see that the build is back and you can open with live server and you can see that that's how to generate the web pages. Okay, so that concludes the demo. Mhm.
Hi, my name is Raghav Jigan, and here's my contribution to Project 4 as a member of Grip 6. So first off, my role is to create the teachings page of the given website. And as you can see, I used the middleman layout here, and this is the main body that I have, which is just a use container. And then here is a loop that basically loops through every single classes that the professor is providing right now, which is stored in the YAML file. For example, let's go here. So this is all the classes that he have listed so far. And then for each object, I also have listed the slides, which is basically if there's linked to that slides folder or slides website. And if there is, then I would go ahead and add it as a hyperlink after the name. For example, I have an if logic here that would basically add if there's this, that would check if there's a slides object within that object, and if there is, it would just add the hyperlink to it. And then this is the YAML object file that I have right now. And then for the layout, we as a team collectively used the single layout, which is linked to the style sheet. And here's the CSS for my page. And this is all the work that I did so far. And at the end, I'm also going to stitch up this video together and I'm going to post it on YouTube and I'm going to submit this video. That's all my contribution. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Landon, and I want to show off what I did for Project 4. So I just generated a website. I'll open it. Yeah, save for page. I made the students page, which just lists out all the students that this professor advises over. And it has links that go back to all the tabs before. And if the student she's on, uh, it has a link that goes to his website as well.
Okay, hi, so my name is Ali Soul, and I'll be talking about my contributions to this project. So basically, I worked on the news part of the web page, and first I have this YML file because the news page just has like a few articles listed and they have a name and then they're like a hyperlink to a link. So here I have just like the title and the links so that I could just print them out on the HTML page like in a loop without doing it manually. So next, we can go to the html.erb file, and here it uses the same layout template that most of them use, but I have this first section class for the service part because that's how the page was divided. It just has like the first paragraph and then these things listed. I separated them with breaks, though I could have used a list too. and then the end part of that. And then for the next section is the articles part that I was talking about. But here, like, I use a loop to just print all of those out on the page. And then at the bottom of that is there's a picture there, and then just some links to other papers that are featured on the website. And then in the styles.css.scss file is where my CSS for this page is. Here in the news part, but I have just like the CSS for the container, and then the headings and the spacing between the sections and the paragraphs and like the links. And then I also have it for the article part, just like the formatting for the lists and those margins, and then the formatting for the picture. But yeah, that's what I did.